Well, hello and welcome people of the internet to Gnomer, a demo we're checking out as part of our continuing Steam Next Fest coverage. This one is a bit of a, well, I guess you would call it a bullet heaven or like action roguelike. I guess, honestly, the way I feel about this one is it's a bit more tower defense. I know, that just took so many left turns, we actually made a right, but trust me on this, we're going to see this one. So we are a knight with a bow and arrow. Not typically a combination you see all the time, but that is how we're doing it today. So unlike typical bullet heavens, the reason I say it's kind of bullet heaven is because it's a lot of enemies just coming at us, but there's no passive attacking. So our bow, we do have to charge up and attack, and we can kind of move it around here. We do have a shield which we can activate. However, you will probably see me activating this a total of 0 times. And then we also have a melee attack, which is a giant sword attack. And now, unfortunately, it is placed on your F key, and there's no way to change keybind settings. So if you ever wanted to move to the right and melee attack, I guess you can. It's just a bit more difficult. So what is our goal? Our goal is to survive a number of waves. So the demo, I believe, is either 4 or 5 different levels, and there are different towers that are going to appear on the map similar to this one. And if we hit E on those towers, the number above here is how many coins it costs to buy. So this one is on us. You can buy it. Once there's a flag on there, basically what that means is that it's going to be available to you in every subsequent level. Right now, there's not a whole lot of towers. Basically, it's going to be health towers, armor towers, and arrow towers. Arrow towers actually attack enemies. The health towers, just like this one, gives us health, and then armor gives us armor. Other than that, we're going to try and kill some gnomes. There are a couple different types of gnomes, and yeah, we're just going to try and progress through the game. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Oh, I should say there's a whole mechanic that I just completely skipped over. There is a random card-based level system. So basically, whenever there are certain maps that when you go to will have a pack of cards as a reward. You open up that pack and you can open up 5 different cards, and those cards are going to have different bonuses. They could just be something as simple as move speed, or they could be something like your projectile turns giant, and I'm talking like bigger than this mushroom giant. Like there's some wacky stuff in there. So that is kind of the cool system that makes this one unique. So let's go ahead and jump in and get going with Gnomer. Yeah, so here's the map. Oh, it looks like we can actually zoom in here. So here's the map that we have to go down. So basically the way it reads, I'm not exactly sure what the green is. I'm almost thinking this might be a threat meter of some kind, but I haven't seen anything to indicate that. You have how much gold you get. So there's an actual gold multiplier on all the levels, and then how long you need to survive. So we're going to be surviving for 40 seconds. We get a time and a half for all of our gold. And again, I'm assuming threat meter, though I don't know for certain. But other than that, let's go ahead and fall into this one. And here we go. So we got these gnomes, and they're going to try and take us out with some pitchforks. Okay. Yeah, they have really good range, and they dash at you. Not a great combination for us, although we do have a range attack here. Oh, we also got a melee attack, but yeah, they will do some damage to you. We should be keeping them over by the tower, though, to be completely honest. That way they can help us out a little bit with damage. Okay, let's go ahead and make our way over here. One of the things that I immediately want is some way to adjust my cursor so that way it's not my default computer mouse, because I'm losing track of my mouse all the time. I was so scared there because the round was over and I had no idea what happened. Man, do I have one more coin? Oh, thank you. Okay, so we can buy this tower. So that means that these 2 towers are going to be there the next time we enter this, because it's always this map. Yeah, so my little white cursor here, I am losing track of this all the time. Now, could I go into my computer settings, make this bigger and make it easier? Yes, but I shouldn't have to do that. So there should probably be a custom cursor that I can, change the color of, make it like pink or something, or orange, something to kind of counter off this, because I lose it all the time. So that was wave 1. So now we get to pick our card here. We're going to rip this off, take this down. We'll flip these over. So we have slightly increase your damage, slightly increase your damage. Your melee cooldown slightly decreases, moderately increases your damage, so a lot of damage increase. And your projectiles freeze enemies. And while we have all this increased damage, hopefully we can hit our enemies. Now, one thing I didn't look at, so the book here on the left, you can only have 12 cards active at a time. As far as the demo here goes, unless you go to 3 different cards, which actually we're going to end up doing. I was just going to say, like, when I did my test runs, they were basically all gold. And so I was like, how am I ever going to get enough cars in the demo? But we got a couple pathways here. So we could, I mean, arguably we could go this way to get more gold, but then we have no more cards to play with. So we're going to go one of these directions. And this is 10 less seconds, but less gold. This is all the same. So I should probably just go for the 10 extra seconds and get the tower, or get the extra gold, I mean. So we got to survive for 100 seconds. I am really hoping that this floor has... Oh, perfect. Okay. So I mentioned at the beginning that I felt like this was a bullet heaven, but it was kind of a tower defense as well. And the primary reason that I said that is... I mean, look at how many towers there are here. So if you have all your gold and you say... Jesus, that was a far dash, man. You can build up a ton of towers. And you almost just don't have to use your bow anymore, which is helpful when you kind of lose track. Oh my god, okay, we need health. We need health. When you lose track of your mouse as much as I do, then you really don't have to worry about shooting your arrows at all. You can kind of just focus on the towers and just let them take care of everything for you. I almost think that the game probably shouldn't have these towers activating automatically. It should probably be you have to buy them first, then they'll start activating for you. Okay, I lied. I activated the shield one time. Because right now, like with how many towers spawned, it almost feels a little bit too good. I was not paying attention to that orb. That's completely my bad, but that's okay. We can go heal up. We're going to run away from that first. I don't want to spawn. I don't want to take these projectiles. Ugh. Okay, let's go ahead and make our way up. Another thing I want to mention is there's almost like a, what would you call it? I guess it's a physics system-ish on the coin. So you see it, and the fact that that projectile there, even though the time is technically up, that will hurt you. So that should probably be changed too. So if you notice the coins, when you go to pick them up, they kind of float around you. Well, the same can be said for hearts. So if I'm kind of running near, like between hearts, there's like this little physics effect where it's almost like there's gravity around me and they don't like come directly to me. And I've had some runs in the past where it's kind of like that, where I'm just like running through trying to grab them and they basically move out of my way. And especially with how much damage you can potentially take, pretty dangerous. So I don't really like that effect, or I should say that the effect is fine, but it's like, if right now it feels like it's turned up to like 100 and it needs to be dialed down to like 20. Okay, so as far as these go, so you can see here there's some that are 80 and some 20. I honestly don't know what the difference is. I'm assuming that these do more damage or they shoot faster. I don't have any confirmation on that. I don't know. So that being said, we're going to buy probably this one since we can kind of clump them up down here. I was looking for an armor tower to see if there was one, but I didn't see one. And I really see no reason to kind of go out far here because we have our health right here. We already have 3 towers here, so I'm going to just kind of stick to this area. So let's go ahead and take our cards here. What do we get? What do we get? So we got increases max HP, which is really good. We have your movement speed slightly increases damage, your melee cooldown, and moderately increases your damage. Okay, so our arrows are doing mad damage right now. Okay, let's go ahead and go one more down. Ah, there we go. We have an armor tower. So how much is this? 30? We're buying it. We're buying it. Oh, wow. There's a bunch of armor towers here now. But, you know, especially like... So now we can really one-shot these gnomes, but god damn, they dash so far. Like right now, I've completely lost track of my mouse. You can have all the damage in the world, but if you can't hit your shots, they're not that good. So, and you can see how the coins are just completely spinning around me. There's just like, they're just not being collected. So you can see like if we were, although there's nothing that we need to buy. God dang it, man. You can see that if there was the case where in the future, the game had a little bit more like active buying that you needed to do. Like for example, let's say rather than the towers activating freely and then you buy them to keep them in place, it was you had to buy them to activate them. You could see if I was sitting here like with 17 gold per se, and I was like, okay, we need the gold, and it's just like not collecting because it keeps orbiting around me. That would get a little annoying. So there, based on the way the game is playing right now, the only one that really matters for is the health and armor. The gold doesn't really matter, but I just don't think it's necessary to have all these effects. But other than that, let's see. So I'm going to run down here. I'm going to spawn these because one thing I think I've noticed. So these are are they recharging? Okay, so yeah, they don't recharge. What I was wondering is, could I collect them? But like this one will shoot one out, so I can pick up this. So like the round is over. I feel like these shouldn't produce anything for you, but they are. So now we have just a crazy amount of armor right now. Is there anything else? So let's go ahead and buy that tower. Let's buy this tower. Might as well buy this one because this one's closer actually and kind of down where we need to be. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and open these. So now we're going to have to choose some of these. So let's go ahead and open. Let's see. How do I... Oh, right. We got to hover over and then pick one. So I'm just going to get rid of the melee prowess because I just don't use it. It's just on such a weird... It's on such a weird button. And there's no way to... And then the last one we just throw in the trash. There's no settings for key mapping. So I just don't find myself using it. And honestly, I think at this point... So we've been firing our arrow, right, this whole time. I think at this point, I'm just going to kind of show the tower defense version of the game. Just so you can see what I mean, right? So that way we can get an idea of like how good the towers are and how much you kind of don't need to play what the game actually is with how the game is currently set up. Because at this point, I'm literally just going to run around. I'm not even going to fire. My hand is, well, I'm like, my hand is off my mouse. I swear my hand is off my mouse. Okay, my hand is now off my mouse. I will not touch my mouse. And I will say in a game that like where the enemies are dashing at you, they're shooting projectiles around you, it's a little bit of like visual noise that doesn't need to be there. All the coins flying around you. Especially if you can get, and I don't know why we just got 1,000,000 armor. I guess these things give more than 1 armor because we just got like 7. Right, because this isn't based on kill count, right? It's based on time. So I just need to survive. Now, obviously, if you didn't have towers, it would be a little bit tougher, or it would be you'd have some really difficult runs, right? Considering the fact that you would not have gold to get more towers, and you just have to run away from the always increasing mob of enemies. But once we have, like, once we have a set number of towers, I mean, the game just kind of plays itself, and I no longer have to worry about shooting my bow. But, like, I do, the ultimate idea, right? Because I've kind of critiqued this to death at this point for the past, 12-ish minutes here. I think that the idea is not that bad, right? So we kind of saw, well, actually, we saw something similar to this when we played Achilles Survivor, right? And like the UI here is just overlapping our coin. That could be cleaned up. We saw something similar in Achilles Survivor where we were building towers. So I do like the idea of towers and like tower building in Bullet Heavens. But the way it's set up right now, where they automatically start firing to start, like, you don't have to work to get the towers. The towers are already there, and so they're already helping you. It's, you know what it is? You know what it is? It's like the example. It's like going to buy a car and either going in with a loan or having to save up the full amount, right? If you go in with a loan, you get the car immediately, and then you just pay it off later. Whereas because like you're always getting the benefit when you start. In worst case scenario, you just don't get to keep it around. You go to the next wave, you go to the next level, and then the towers aren't there. Versus what could be, the towers are sitting there, but you can't use it yet. Not until you build up the gold. Once you do the work, you build up the gold, then you get the reward of the tower. But the way it is now, you just get the reward right off the bat, and it's like, oh, well, if I don't get the money, it's not the worst thing in the world to go to the next level, have a few more towers. But ultimately, it's not a big deal. I already extracted all the value from it, and I didn't have to do anything for it. So let's see. Can we get a crazy one? Your arrows will shock enemy. More damage. I mean, I guess we'll get the shocking arrows. We'll get rid of this melee prowess, but ultimately, I'm like I said, I can kind of just go through this and not even have to worry about firing arrows, and I can just focus on dodging enemies. Ooh, we got to survive for 200 seconds. 200 big boys. And look at that. We have more armor towers. Do we have any more? We got this tower. So what do? Are you just I think you're just firing faster. I think that's what it is. We can actually compare right here. Okay, so yeah, it's definitely speed. Right? The one on the right is firing at a much slower rate than the one on the left. Okay, yeah, you get out of here. It's all right. We have enough armor to keep us alive for a little while. We don't really have to worry about our health. We're so healthy, it's going off screen. Yeah, see, so like right there, I kind of ran in to try and get the shield, but the shield just like floated around me. But you can see how much damage they do. Like we're already, we're taking some hits. So the towers aren't, they're not necessarily everything. You can't you can really just rely on them, but there's a lot of gnomes here, man. We'll just go, we'll collect our armor. Now, the upgrade that would have helped us a lot on this level is piercing. Your arrows don't pierce by themselves. You got to pick up a piercing upgrade. All right, we're going to work our way around here. Grab a heart. There we go. Okay, we might need to help out just a little bit here. Let's go ahead and pick up our shield. Okay, shield. Yeah, collecting stuff with enemies around you, you take some damage there because it doesn't collect them immediately. It almost has like a cooldown on it before you can actually collect the upgrade, which is also kind of a problem in a fast-paced game like this, where it's like, okay, I need my health, like if I need it immediately, not in like a second and a half. Okay, they spawned right on top of me. Let's go. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, see, like I'm trying to pick up the shield, but it keeps floating around me. Kind of making it difficult. All right, there we go. Now we can go ahead and pick up our upgrades. Yeah, so, and like the orbs are still following me. So if the first time I played, I had no idea that you could still get hit by that. That gets a little rough if you're not prepared for that. Because it's like, hey, I'm done the level. Like, you shouldn't hit me. But, I mean, I've played played a game. What was it? Oh, it was, oh, well, the video hasn't come out yet. But I was playing a game where I was literally in a cutscene and the enemy hit me and I died like inside. It was a real-time cutscene, right? Not a rendered cutscene. and the enemy hit me and I died, and I was not happy because it ended my run. But yeah, okay, so let's go ahead. We'll pick up our gold here and we'll proceed. Oh, look at that. We have our, is this our boss run? Is this our last map that we're going to? What do we got up here? No, we've already won. Now die. And then, as if it were a joke, we can try and survive. There will be no surviving here. They are going to throw literally a million enemies at us, and eventually we will die. But that is a sacrifice I am willing to make. Because there is no winning. The demo's over. You will die. It's inevitable. There's no getting away from it. There's no way you're killing this many gnomes. If you can, good on you. Just survive, you know, 1600 seconds. I don't even know how many minutes that is. There we go. We are dead. Then we start over. So that is Gnomer. Yeah, so the idea itself, you know, is cool. I do like bullet heavens that add like the tower defense element. I think it adds kind of a cool element to the tower defense system, right? Because like another bullet heaven that I have recorded that I haven't released yet has a oh, what do I want to call it? It's a robot system. It's like a robot buddy system. Summons, basically. That's what they are, right? But you can get like you can get drones, you can get robots to follow you, and they help you shoot. And it's just kind of cool having those around, you know, like I've played some bullet heavens in the past that have like a tower or turret system, but if the map is a lot larger, doesn't really work out because the towers don't really follow you. Well, this is a smaller area, but I think that it kind of becomes overpowered if your towers don't have any kind of like cooldown or duration time. You know, Achilles Survivor fixed this by having health on the towers so that enemies can actually attack the tower. So you kind of have incentives to stick around and protect your towers, but if they take too much damage, they break and you have to build them again. So there's kind of a risk and reward there as to how many of your resources are you going to spend for a tower that might just die pretty quickly. Whereas this, they're just kind of around. They just stay there forever. And like I said, with the car analogy, you don't even have to pay for them. If you wanted to, you could literally just save all your gold. There's no reason to, because there's nothing else to spend your gold on, which I think is another kind of thing that probably should be added. There should probably be another way to spend your gold, either for selecting specific upgrades. Maybe there's a shop in the game where rather than, I mean, you're playing around with the fact that you're opening packs of cards for upgrades, right? So not having a shop where you can buy individual cards, like that's where most people, if you're playing, let me put a caveat in there because it's not most players. Most players, if you look at the grand scheme of things, percentage wise, most players buy their cards from packs. But if you are an actual player of card games, like if you're actually playing in like your local tournaments, I would say people who are looking to build decks and play in tournaments, 95% of them, when they want to buy cards, they'll go buy singles, right? I couldn't tell you the last, like me and the group of friends that I played with when we played Magic, obviously people bought packs, right? But it was never like, oh man, I really need this one card, I'm gonna go buy a pack. No, you just go up to the counter and be like, hey, I want that single. Buying the pack was just like, hey, I got a couple bucks. It was almost like, let me just buy a scratch ticket. Let me see if I can open a $20 card out of a $3 pack, right? So if you're going to play with the card theme here, I think you could definitely lean into the shop deal more and trying to buy cards, which I think would also lend to increasing your build. But ultimately, like, the challenge kind of stayed the same. You know, there were no new enemies. It was just more enemies. There were no elites. We didn't even have a boss fight at the end. So I feel like that was kind of lacking there. Yeah, I mean, you could argue, how is the game balanced? Honestly, people smarter than me could tell you that, or suggest things, you know, like you know, the shield I felt like was never really going to be useful, at least for me, but that's mostly because my reflexes are kind of slow. You know, to me, it seemed like it was always best to just be shooting my arrow constantly to do damage. The sword itself would maybe be more useful if I could better utilize it, but it being on the F key kind of limits my movement in order to use it. And so without keybind switching, there's nothing I can really do. As far as settings, it's literally volume, full screen, and this isn't even lens distortion. This is just a vignette. So that's about all that was there. But what do you guys think of Gnomer? Let me know down below in the comment section. And like I said in the beginning, if you do want to check it out for yourself, link will of course be down in the description as always. But guys, if you did like the video, if you like what you saw, you had a good time, would you kindly smash the like button, subscribe to the channel for more roguelite action. But other than that, guys, I am out of here. I've been Ganyonz. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.